the U.S. market is looking very, very, very green today. That is fantastic. And that's because CPI inflation reading came out. Versus expected 3.4%, we actually came in lower. Okay, 3.3%. Now, all the economists, all the banks were making predictions, and almost every single one predicted that inflation ticked up. But somehow, no, we didn't tick up, and we're at 3.3%. Now, I know since the last CPI reading, they started removing like categories. I remember they removed coffee. I don't know if they removed anything else, but it almost seems like this was planned. Like you knew that inflation numbers had to be lower, because if this was higher, it's going to upset a lot of things that are moving in motion. For example, rate cuts. Like if the inflation continues to go higher, there's no way Powell can do rate cuts, right? But now it's like, okay, it's a green flag. Go ahead and do it, right? That's what this is showing. So obviously this is good. Everyone, everyone in the U.S. Expected something higher. We got something lower, and that means inflation supposedly is coming down, and inflation's coming down. That's good all around. That means there's price stability. That means rate cuts can be allowed, and overall everyone's going to make a lot of money. That's what it's signaling. What does Powell really think, right? There is going to be a FOMC meeting that's going to happen. I believe it's usually 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, and there will be a press release or a press statement released 30 minutes before. And basically, he's going to run through the press statement and say whether or not there's going to be a rate cut. And then there's a press conference, and then the reporters grill him, and we'll see what he says. Not sure if I'm going to stream it or not. Maybe not. Depends. But right now, the prediction is 99.9% chance that there will be no rate cut today. Okay, 0.1%. Can Powell shock the markets and say, screw all you guys with your predictions. I'm going to announce the very first rate cut since 2020 today. If he does that, okay, Dow will be plus 2,000. NASDAQ will be like plus 600. And Bitcoin will be at 75,000. If that happens, today will be insane. But there's a 99.9% chance that doesn't happen. So we'll see. We will see. So that is what's happening right now and what will happen later today. You guys know Bitcoin is the best, right? Even billionaire investor Bill Miller says the same thing. Bitcoin's value is many multiples above its current price. We know that. When you factor in how you can't artificially inflate it, how there is a set supply, how it's not controlled by any Federal Reserve or central bank around the world, you can't apply monetary policy, you can't do quantitative tightening or easing. It is simply the best. It has all the inherent goodness of gold, yet none of the bad. It is the best asset that we have today. That is why its value is multiples, many multiples above where it is right now. That's why at the end of the cycle, Bitcoin could be at 200, 300, 400, 500,000. And these hedge funds also, hedge funds, institutions, they all believe that too. So you could see these are the top 80 holders of Bitcoin ETFs. Some of these guys are holding billions. Millennium Management, almost 2 billion. Susquehanna International, 1.3 billion. Horizon Kinetics, about $1 billion. Jane Street, more than $500 million, right? Even some of the largest institutions on the planet, they also believe what Bill Miller says, and and what MicroStrategy, or I should say Michael Saylor, have said. And they are loading up. This is why the ETF inflows are so massive, even though yesterday I believe we had an outflow. I don't actually have the number. But overall, within 3 months' time, we have like $80 billion worth of Bitcoin being bought by the institutions. People recognize this. People now know Bitcoin. Even kids know Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a taboo thing anymore, okay? It's not like it's not an asset like years before where many people had no clue what it is. This cycle is different because now everyone knows what it is. Everyone has heard of it. Whether they have invested in it is a different story. But we are now mainstream. Bitcoin is definitely mainstream, and it's not just the US, worldwide, wherever you go, people know of Bitcoin, and more are turning to it, right? And here's the kicker. The fundamentals of Bitcoin continues to grow stronger, not just from a price perspective, right? Obviously, we know that price goes up and it keeps on going up, and nothing has outperformed Bitcoin in the last 5, 10, 15 years. We know that. But what's the underlying reason, I guess, right? Why does Bitcoin keep going up? Why do so many people want it, right? Well, there's many reasons. But if you're measuring truly why Bitcoin's price go up, it's really just supply and demand, right? All the demand, we're hearing about it every day around the world. All the demand keeps going up and the supply keeps going down. Here's actually pretty shocking. I don't think anyone paid attention to this, but Coinbase yesterday had a massive minus 14,000 Bitcoin outflow. And the last 30 days, minus 38,000. And that's not even the biggest number. If you look at Kraken had a minus 54,000 Bitcoin in the last 30 days. Gemini minus 8,500, OKX minus 7,400. I mean, almost everything is in the red except Bitfinex. And I think Bitfinex got an inflow because people are trying to leverage trade. But man, if you look at what's happening, the exchanges are losing their Bitcoin at an astronomical rate. Why? Because people want to load up, right? Despite the price drop in the last few days, you could see Coinbase still had a minus 14,000 because these big boys continue to buy. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable. Click the link in the description below.